Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Basically, I want to let you know about which routes are the best ones to take up Kilimanjaro. So we'll start the show. So we actually do 5 routes up Kilimanjaro. So just to let you know, this is just a bit of a route map to give you an idea. So the 5 routes that we offer are Lemosho, also Shira, Rongai, the Northern Circuit, and Machame. So the Lemosho, Rongai, Northern Circuit, and Machame, we actually have fixed departures and a lot of different dates that are available that you can book on. The Shira route we actually offer as more for private groups. It's kind of the Lemosho route has taken over the Shira route. So just to give you a bit of an idea, probably the most popular route and probably one of the most beautiful routes is the Lemosho route. And you can kind of see that it comes in from the sort of like the west or the southwest of the mountain, comes across and then basically goes up to Kibo or Huru Peak, and you basically come down south to exit. It's an 8-day route. Basically the whole idea about going to Kilimanjaro, the best thing you can do is if you can afford the time, and it's best to actually give yourself the best, I guess, opportunity to make the summit. So an 8-day trek, which is Lemosho, is basically the best option that you can have to take. Now, it's always, I guess, sort of the pros and cons of the different routes, but Lemosho has a very good summit success rate. Generally speaking, we find with our trips, the summit success is over 95%. It has really great acclimatization, and also the trail is really great in terms of your sort of like you're traversing off the southern side of the mountain. Now, the other things about this route, which you should be aware of, is that you do go up the Barranco Wall, which has some scrambling of about 200 odd meters. And that's something to be aware of when you do go on the Lemosho route. And even some of the dates that we offer, even summit on the full moon. So that's if you do have the time, that's definitely the route that I would probably recommend to people. It's certainly it's our most popular route, our biggest seller. So yeah, the next route I would probably talk about would be the Rongai route, and that's the one that's colored red. And what that does is you basically come in off the northern side of the mountain and basically very close to the Kenyan border. So the benefit of this route is that it is a shorter days. It's only a 6-day trek as opposed to Lemosho, which is 8 days. Now, there's obviously pros and cons in relation to that. It's more for people that are kind of short on time, but also on a limited budget. What they have in Tanzania is that the park fees are charged on a per day basis. So for each day that you're actually on the mountain itself or trekking, they're going to charge you on a per day park fee basis. So the fact that Rongai is a 6-day trek, you are saving on park fees. But conversely to that, because you're not probably giving yourself as much time to acclimatize as opposed to going on a longer trek, the summit success rate on Rongai is much lower, probably around about the sort of the 88% mark. So that's something for you to take into consideration. And it's almost like you want to always give yourself the best opportunity to, make the summit if you can. So the beauty about Rongai, because you're coming in from the northern side, you do get some really beautiful views of the Kenyan plains. And also it's not as popular. So in terms of like, you might not see as many people on that side of the mountain. coming off, once obviously everyone's going up the mountain, you're going to come across people when you get to the bottom, staying at summit camp before you go for the summit itself. You're going to come across people. There's no way getting out of that. But the beauty of the days leading up to that is that you, generally speaking, would probably see very few groups. Now, the next route I'd probably would suggest, which is more sort of, I would say, probably more for the enthusiast and someone who definitely has a lot more time on their hands and really wants to, like see everything there is to see on trek in around Kilimanjaro, is the remote northern circuit route, which you can see on our map is the brown route. So it does follow pretty much the Lemosho route from the west, and what it does is you basically have a 270-degree circumnavigation. So you're kind of following both the Lemosho or Shira routes and then part of the Rongai route. So you're kind of coming around the mountain before you go up to the summit. All our dates are pretty much, unless otherwise specified, are full moon summits for the Northern Circuit. So it's not just a beautiful way to get up to the mountain, having a full moon summit, but you also get to see like it's almost like a circumnavigation. So you get to see the Kenyan plains as well, and you will also get to come in from the Lemosho from the southern side as well. So it's actually, like I say, really, really lovely. It's more for the enthusiast because it is a 9-day trek, so you are paying an extra day's park fees. So unless you've sort of got the time and, that's definitely something that really interests you, but in terms of, I guess, the circumnavigation with the 270, again, bit more remote on that side. You're probably not going to get as many people, once you leave the main Lemosho route. So it's actually, a really, really nice option for those who actually have the time and the money, I guess. So the fourth route we actually offer as well is the Machame route. Now, the Machame route is a 7-day trek, and it's probably not the one I would probably least probably recommend to people. It is a very, very popular route. Pretty much 50% of all people who go up Kilimanjaro go up the Machame route. We do offer it as an option because some people either can't make the dates for some of the other routes, or for some reason someone said to them, go up Machame. So it's one of those sort of routes where I would say the benefit of going up that route is that you do get the 7 days. So it kind of sits between Rongai and Lemosho in terms of the number of days that you are on trek. So it's a little bit cheaper than Lemosho, bit more expensive than Rongai, but does offer very, very good acclimatization. The summit success that we have on Machame is pretty much almost as comparable as what you would get on Lemosho, but because it is such a popular route, you're going to see a lot more people. And so that's probably one, like I say, I wouldn't recommend because it is very, 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 you'll see a lot more people on that route. Those dates for the Machame route, again, pretty much a majority of them, unless otherwise specified, do summit on the full moon. So that's probably a plus for that route. But the minus is lots of people. So again, not something I would probably recommend. That would probably be my least recommended route of the routes that we offer. Now, the Shira Plateau route that we have, which is the green one, it pretty much follows almost from the west as well, similar to the Lemosho route. That one is pretty similar in terms of it's quite good for private groups because it's not, you won't see as many people as you would on Lemosho, because Lemosho has become extremely popular. But the difference between the two routes is that the Shira route, the first campsite is a lot higher, like the altitude is a lot higher. You do start a lot higher than Lemosho. But over the next 4 days, your acclimatization is a lot better. Like you only have like about 1,000, about 1,200 meters acclimatization over 4 days, whereas Lemosho, you get that in the first 2 days. So Lemosho, you start lower, but for the next 2 days, you are going up a lot higher, a lot quicker than what you would do with Shira. So it's pluses and minuses. It is something we offer, like I say, for private groups, and any of our routes, actually, if you do have, for example, a group of friends, or if you have a charity, or anybody, like even like a school group that's interested in going up Kilimanjaro, we can certainly, take you up any of the regular routes that we actually offer as well. So, give you just a bit of an idea about Kilimanjaro itself, what you're probably likely to see. There are different climatic zones. I mean, why would you go up Kilimanjaro? There's so many different reasons, aside from the fact that at 5,895 meters, it is the highest mountain in Africa. It's one of the 7 summits. It's also a fantastic challenge, a really amazing trek. I've done it. I actually did it on the Rongo route, which was just fantastic. It's really a great milestone for like a milestone event. I went up as, for example, for myself, I went up, it was like a Christmas present. So to me, so I thought that was fantastic. But on my group, we had people that had milestone birthdays. I actually know people who have actually gotten engaged on Kilimanjaro. That's also like, it's just like a really, really good thing to do for a milestone event. It is trekking only with a day pack. You'll get to see some amazing different climatic zones. You can see on this slide at the very lower, the bottom of the mountain, you're almost walking through rainforest, and you may also come across monkeys. And as you climb up, you're going up through this sort of like alpine type, so it does get a bit more sparse, but you get some really amazing flora, like the Synesia trees here. So it's really, really interesting insofar as like the type of terrain that you're going to come across. We have full serviced camping, great tents. And for those who basically don't have the gear or anything like that, we also do things like equipment hire, where you can hire things like down jackets, sleeping bags, these really fantastic sleeping mattresses, which are almost like, sleeping on a cloud. And even for things like, trekking poles. And to give yourself, I guess, the best chance, you could even hire a personal oxygen system where someone actually takes up a little oxygen tank, and that's to ensure if you really want to make sure you get up to the summit. As far as our groups are concerned, we do provide emergency oxygen for the group itself. But also, it's the beauty about Kilimanjaro is that you don't need any technical climbing experience. It is still one of the highest trekkable mountains that you can do. So aside from a bit of, like I said, for the Lemosho routes, where you're going up the Barranco wall, where there might be a bit of hand and feet scrambling. Aside from that, it's just you and your 2 feet. So, and basically 1 foot in front of the other. So the other thing about Kilimanjaro, which you probably want to try and get to see before it all goes away, is that there are some glaciers up there, but unfortunately the glaciers are receding, so best to get up there sooner rather than later. And in terms of, I guess this is the goal. The goal is to get you up to Kilimanjaro, and to take the shot, and basically say, I've done that. So the other thing I would mention in terms of, sorry, I'll come back again. In terms of what we offer, we also have safety is a very, very big thing for us, and acclimatization and making sure you actually are taken care of and have the best chance of making the summit. We do have a 1-to-2 guide to trekker ratio on summit day. So that basically ensures that you're well taken care of. And if we find that someone is succumbing to altitude sickness and needs to come down, there are plenty of staff around to basically escort anyone if they find that they're sort of succumbing to altitude sickness. So that all adds to, the safety aspects for us, but also, giving you the best chances of acclimatization. Same thing, like, walk high, sleep low. We also have on each day, there's usually an acclimatization walk where you're basically going up a little bit higher than the camp before coming back down. Yeah, so, and the staff are fantastic. They take really great care of you. We go in like a full expedition. We do all the meals. Your tents are put up and taken down. The porters are great. They do a fantastic job of taking care of you. We also have an initiative called 10 Pieces where, we want to make sure that whatever we take up on the mountain, we also bring back. And for those who, are a little bit sort of, not so great with their rubbish, we will collect theirs as well. The other thing is, in terms of, like I say, the food is fantastic. You'll get fed really well. And all you need to do is you're carrying a day pack. All your luggage is taken for you as well. You're just carrying a day pack and you just need to go from point A to point B and basically, one foot in front of the other. And there's no points for getting into camp early. You might as well take your time, acclimatize well, take it easy, go slowly. The guides are always going to say pole, pole, which is slow, slow. And they'll make sure that, that you're, drinking enough and everything so that you, again, have the best chance for getting up to the summit. Finally, we also offer safari extensions as well. So for those who want to add a safari either before or after your trek, we do offer safari extensions to, there's some the nearest parks closest to Kilimanjaro and Arusha are Tarangire, Lake Manyara, and the Ngorongoro crater. So we offer some really nice extensions going to those 3 parks. And also, if you've got time, we also have trips going to the Serengeti as well. What I would say in terms of acclimatization to really, again, give yourself a really good chance of, getting yourself up the summit is if you do have the time and also, the inclination, I would suggest a short safari before the trip. Obviously, it depends on your timing, but what that helps with is basically, you get over your jet lag. You also get to acclimatize to the actual sort of altitude as well, because you are going to be, you're not starting at sea level. You are going to be at a little bit of altitude, but also again, get over your, your jet lag and get yourself sort of like ready for the challenge ahead and, get relaxed and everything, see some nice animals, while you're at it. It's actually a really good way to get yourself into the, I guess, the mood to get up Kilimanjaro. The other thing we offer is some extensions to Zanzibar, and this is something that is a really great way to basically, relax after you've taken on the challenge of Kilimanjaro. Nothing like going after a big challenging hike to go and lie on a beach. It's a pretty good way to, sort of rest and relax before you jump on a plane back home. So finally, thank you. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of information about the different routes that we offer up Kilimanjaro, and hopefully, you can join us for the adventure of a lifetime. We do have, we've been offering Kilimanjaro treks for at least, more than 3 decades. Have really, really great team out there in Tanzania, and they will take really, really great care of you. So thank you. I've going to answer a few questions. So the Northern Circuit summiting success rate, someone's asking me. Good question. What would that be? Do you know what, JB? I'm going to get back to you on that one. I know it's actually pretty good. I can't tell you an actual percentage as such. So, has anyone else got any questions?
Hey Gus, I just thought I'd quickly ask. You mentioned about the park fees. Can you give people an idea of how much they are so they can understand the significance of an extra day financially?
Oh, yes, let me see. Generally speaking, the park fees are, ooh, let me try and see if I've got an idea. Um, am I able to get out of this one, Brad? Sorry, this is a technical issue.
Just a ballpark, Gus, is fine because I know it's in US and it's usually more than a few $100s, right? So it's something
Oh,
significant.
it is something significant. The thing is, like every day that you're actually on the mountain is an extra park fee. Certainly for adults, you're probably looking anywhere up to, I think I understand it's around about 800 US dollars. Um, so for, but I'd need to check that. Sorry.
No, just a ballpark. There's a few more questions there for you, Gus.
Okay. What is the best? I have a question from Jody. What is the best time of year? Sorry. Okay. So in terms of the best times to trek Kilimanjaro, I guess the months to probably avoid, which we generally don't provide trek dates, is from March to May and November. So any other time is actually a really good time to go up Kilimanjaro. So March to May, March, April, May are the long rains and November are the short rains. So those are probably the months to avoid. We generally don't provide dates during those rainy months. Okay, we have a question here. Are the guides all local and English speaking? Yes, they are. Okay, so I have another question here. Where do we leave from? So for the Rongai route, we actually leave from the night before. We stay in a town nearby called Marangu, and for the other routes, we stay in or near Arusha.